Welcome to Opalix R Us. Anyway, I'm just gonna be messing around here. Let's. I do have. Actually, you know what? We have one. We're gonna go. I guess we want to go from the beginning, right? So let's go with this one here. Yeah. So we got this this Wheelo right here. We're gonna start with. I think that'll be a good one to start with. Let's see what that's gonna look like set. This is a decent color, but I'm thinking I want to go with. Oh, you know what? No, I want to save that one for later. Let's do a pendant here. I was trying to debate, or no, let's do a ring. I like this one for a ring. So, okay. So anyway, we're gonna start with this gem. It's kind of hard to see it, but anyway, let's start with this gem here for a pendant. We'll throw that over there. So first thing we need to do is find some bezel wire that's the right height. Got a bunch of stuff over here, by the way. So let's see here. That one's a little tall. I think this one, I got a small scrap here. I bet will work. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so anyway, first things I start with is I take my bezel. And I've got to get it to the right size. So here we go. I'm gonna take it. This is the way I do it. I mean, you can do however you want, but me personally, I take the gem, I just wrap it around. I try to make sure it's nice and tight, like we're doing there. Grab my marker, and I gotta look and see where it ends here, and then give it a little bit. And I just kind of mark where they meet. This is what I do. Anyway, so I get that. I'm gonna set this gem off to the side. Oh, right, I'm dropping things. That's always fun, sliding things off here. Okay, so anyway, that's the gem we're working with. We got our mark, as you can see, it's got a little bitty mark there. So now I just take my side cutters, and I'm going to try to cut it as straight as I can. I'm gonna leave myself a little bit of silver, so I don't cut right on the mark. I just cut a little bit, toward it. Make sure I'm straight. Go ahead and cut that bad boy. Still a scrap over there for now. Break out our files. And now we're just gonna be squaring up the ends. And so I square them up. Because when you cut them, you'll notice that it has kind of it's not square, it has like a little bezel to it. So, which is fine, but it happens. No big deal. Get my catch tray and make this, so I'm not losing the silver. Then I clean up. I don't clean up the whole piece. I go with my file the edge so I have a nice clean edge, like we did there. And then I take and I go probably about a 20-40 degree angle. And I just kind of give it a little clean up there so I have a nice clean edge for the solder to adhere to. Because if it's not clean, even your fingerprints and stuff will keep the solder from adhering to your silver. So it is important to always make sure your silver's nice and clean before you try to solder it together. Because anyway, like some people will sit there and they like to do, edit their videos and take a bunch of videos. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be making some short videos, whatever, 10, 20, whatever it takes me, unedited. So you have to ignore background, stuff like that. So anyway, now that we got that, because it's kind of a small one, we get these pieces all put together. We're not going to worry about the shape right now. We just need to get it attached. So you're going to notice in my videos, there's going to be no editing. It's just going to be, no special, nada. We're just going to just do it. Just kind of help share with you guys what we do here and how we can make your pieces of jewelry for you. Whether it's a pendant or a ring or a pair of earrings, whatever it might be that we're doing. Maybe one day, I'm not sure. I'll get it set up. I got to get some camera set. Things to hold cameras and stuff like that. And then I'll probably show you guys cutting gems or something. But right now, Daisy Opals does a lot of that, so I'm not, got Black Opal Direct and a bunch of stuff. I keep my borax water mixture, in here, so I'm just gonna hit that little joint that we're doing. And set this down. And of course, I have all my different solders, my medium easy. Since this is gonna be the beginning, it's a hard. So we'll heat this up, make sure we got good coverage on it. Let's heat it up till it turns white. And leave it at that. It's gonna stick because whatever. Get my soldering pick out. And I probably, in all honesty, I gotta do a lot of sanding, filing and sanding, because in all honesty, I probably do use way too much solder, because I'm going to use, like on this, I'm going to go one, oops, if I can get it, I'll do 2 chips here, and I'll put that on the front. It's important when you're placing your solder to make sure that it touches both sides. I put one on the inside and one on the outside here. Give it a little heat so the solder will stick. Oh, there we go. We almost got too hot already. Heating from the outside because you want your metal to be hot. You don't want to melt the solder because the solder and the silver will melt. So it's like, So I'll kind of circle, 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 circle till I see it's getting warm enough. And then give it a little bit of heat. Oh, there we go. It's melting. Maybe we'll do some videos where we get, some close-ups and stuff. But for the most part, this is what I'm thinking. You guys can tell me what what you like. But, we got that all taken care of. So that's done for right now. Turn this off. Set that off to there. Hit the pickle pot with it. So I'm going to set this over here. Pickle pot's warming up. While that's pickling, let's go ahead and move on to something we already had started. So, honestly, I'm thinking this will make a nice pendant. So we had this one started. This one's already done. At least the bezel part's built. So we have that. So we'll set this gem off to the side. Gotta get this sanded. So let's start with that first. Oh, crud. This is the fun part right here. Dropping stuff all the time. I hate that. But I'm not sure if you can see in the video or not. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But you can see I got a lot of solder on there. We got to clean up. So that's what I'm working on now. Let's get my cleaned up. So it's just one of those things. It takes time. Using your file is a good one. That's just the flat. And of course I have a beveled one. Got the half round for doing the insides, which is always a good one. And I'll show you another one too. So anyway, we got that. That cleans that stuff up. But I really do. Oh, geez. Before I have these, I love these stupid barrel sanders. These barrel sanders are awesome. Because you sit there and it's so much faster than doing that. You just go like there, hit it real quick. It's just, keep moving dust in one spot. Because it's like any sanding, you're going to, you can make a flat spot on it if you're not careful. But this just cleans it up so fast, and it's great for that. It's great for the inside. It just saves so much time, And if you're like me and you're making jewelry pieces, you'll understand. Time is a huge indicator. So I got to figure out. Me personally, I like to put where my solder joint is. That's gonna be the top because that's where the bail and everything's gonna attach. And if you make it at the top, that way you always ensure it's gonna hide and it's not gonna be an issue. So of course I gotta take my gem here and I gotta make sure the light's there. And me personally, it's like, so it's about here, chest level. We're gonna turn this into a pendant. So it's gonna be a pendant for somebody. So I like to hold it about at chest level as if, the person's wearing it. And I'll have the light over here shining and I just turn it until I see where it's gonna be the brightest shine, where it's gonna show its most color. So for this particular one, it looks really good. I'm not sure if you can see in the pictures or in the video, but we'll deal with that later. But like right about here, it's gonna be perfect for color. I've got some greens, some purples, some blues. So that's gonna be my top. So now I know that's my top. I'll set that down. I'll find the seam, which is right there. I'll make sure that that's where I want the top to be. Which is, and then once again, check it. So that's where the top is. Good. And then this is what I do. So then now I got the gem inside the cup, and then just kind of give it a little pressure down and spin it around to make sure it takes that nice shape that I want it to take. Set the gem back down because we know where we're at. So I set that down, go underneath my bench here, and find my sandpaper, which I know I have. So here's my sandpaper. And we've got a, flat, make sure it's nice and flat. So give it a little bit of love. Because once again, we have to make sure those edges are flat for one thing and nice and clean so the solder will stick. For another, don't take so much off so it's not going to work for your particular stone, but there we go. And then also, like when you solder your seam on your bezel, if you have one area that because sometimes you're not perfectly flat. So when you solder, you might have a little gap. So like me personally, I'll see if the gap is on this, on this side, then I'll make this side the bottom that's going to attach to my back plate. That way, that'll close up that gap. If I flip it over this way and I finish everything, then that's going to, granted, always be open, and it's going to be an eyesore, and the jewelry's just not going to look as nice. So anyway, once we have that sanded and get that looking nice, we're going to verify that we didn't, twist it or bend it any when sanding, which on this one, because it's kind of small, we did. So we need to replace the gem in there, look at it again, give it a little more love, make sure it's the right shape. And then once again, pop out the gem, double check. Yeah, we still like our color. So I got some flat stock silver. I usually throw mine in the rolling mill. And it's usually about 0.5 to 0.6. This is 0.58, 0.62, so perfect. I found that that's probably thick enough. I have a little cheat sheet over here. So if we look at our little cheat sheet, that one there is approximately 22 gauge. So I like the 22 gauge for my back plate. It seems to be strong enough. It gives a lot of stability. Sometimes we'll go a little less, a little more, depending on the gem, of course. But on average, 22 gauge what we're looking at. So we'll take this, we'll set it on there, and we're going to be putting a jump ring and some other things on there, so we'll make sure we're big enough. So I'll slide it down, get my marker here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut ourselves a piece here. And now that we got a piece how big we want, we're gonna get our saw. And make sure our catch tray is underneath of this. And I use my finger to kind of hold the blade where I want it. And my saw, I have it, of course, so I always have it cut on the back. So to get that notch started, what I do is I have it on there, and the non-cutting direction is I'll push it up first. It kind of makes a little notch for it to sit in. And that way when I pull back, it's right where I need it to be. And of course, just go nice and light, make sure it's kind of near there, hold it nice and steady. And we're just going to cut. So once we have this cut off, we'll get it cleaned up and ready to set the other piece on there. We got some fitting to do, so it is what it is. Not a big deal. So sometimes I lose things, they go flying, so I'll stop before I cut it completely. And I'll get my scrap over here. This is where I keep all my little scrap pieces. I'll throw it over here right now, so it's not over there out of camera. Throw this back over there. And then we're going to break out. I like the yellow. The yellow does a really good job of cleaning everything up. And not getting it too, I don't know what the word I'm looking for. Too scuffy. So that way it's still nice and where it needs to be. And once again, we're cleaning it up mainly because, well, we need it cleaned up for the solder to stick. So there we are. Oh, and once again, you gotta love when that happens. Throwing it around. Okay, so cleaning it up. Now, here we go in the cleaning up part. And then, of course, making sure. This is the fun part. You always forget, I swear. I mean, I'm bad about it too. Set that down. So this is gonna be the side I'm soldering to. This is gonna be the back. So on the back, this is what I do. I take this. Some people are really worried about it. I don't. I just for hallmarking. So I'll make sure my hallmark is good. My hallmark is good. It's gonna indentate, so I make it flat again. And then what I do, markers are great for this, because if you put if you mark your silver, when your silver is actually to the correct temperature for even annealing and stuff, then the black marker will disappear. I mark where the hallmark is, just so I know where it is. So that way, when I'm going to do my bezel, because now we're going to go ahead and put some solder stuff on here. And go around where the hallmark stamp is. So we got that, and I grab my tweezers. And I know that I find the top where I have to notch at. Okay, so there it is, which is fine. Okay, and then of course I dip mine in there because I want to make sure it has nice, good coverage. I'm just gonna do a simple one here, so I'll set it on there. Okay, so now I make sure I got the paste there, and I'm making a mess, of course. And let's get a jump ring. I like to put a jump ring on there for my bales, so I make all my own jump rings. I got them in a drawer over here, so we're gonna find one that we like for this one, which I'm thinking, I don't want a big one. You know, I got some big ones like this, but that's probably a little too big for this particular pendant because it's a little on the smaller side. So I'm not gonna go with the small one though, but we're gonna go with a nice, I think a medium one will work. Yeah, that's a nice size. So let's go with that size. And first things first is, because these are just made and cut real quick, so first things first, we need to make sure everything's there. And then I'll take, yep, it's this one. So on this particular file, it has this side here that has no teeth on it whatsoever. Nice, it's not gonna cut your silver. So that way, you'll come down here and clean up, oops, sorry. You know, put it on your jump ring, on top of it, clean up the side. And like small things like this are kind of hard to do, so pliers are a great thing for this too. So you can hold your piece in your pliers, which for me comes in handy. And make sure that you have your side so you're not doing it. Just give that a little love. And then the same thing on the other side. So make sure you get both sides squared up. Clean off any excess. Okay, so that looks good. So now that I'm done there, put the pliers down. And I use my round noses a lot for this kind of stuff. Now you just got to get that jump ring closed. So first thing I'm doing is I'm lining it up. And now we're going to close it. Make sure it's nice and closed and look good. And I can see personally, just because I can just see it, it's a little bit wobbly, so we're going to give it a little bit of love there on the handle. So that's getting good. And then once again, I'm going to break out our sandpaper and just give it a little bit of sanding on this side here. So, and what we're doing, this is always a pain. To get it started is kind of a pain. Once you start to get it going though, it does get easier. So go like this, go like this. I'm not trying to get too much off of it, but because I'm soldering it to my back plate, I'm not just soldering the jump ring to the piece. I'm gonna make it nice and flat here. So, yeah, there we go, nice, that's good. So this is nice and flat. Once again, we're gonna go ahead and dip it. Boom, 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 boom. And same thing here. And I like to make sure, once again, that the splice location where it's touching each other is gonna be touching the bezel. Once again, the reason for that is just to hide it, just to hide that little bit of thing. It makes it so you don't have to work as hard. Okay, so there's that. So we like where it's set. It looks nice and good on top. We got that, we got everything on here. So now we gotta heat this up a little bit, get it a little wet. I have the wire on here hanging over just so I can come from underneath. I find that doing this from underneath, personally for me, works a lot better, a lot easier, a lot quicker. There we go, we're getting some bubble action. Now when you're doing stuff like this, the bubbling, sometimes it's gonna, things will move around. It is what it is. So what I do is I'll take my solder pick and I'll push things around if I have to, you know. Once you get to this point, you go a little bit more and then it's gonna start turning that glaze. And while it's there, I don't have to move anything, but if I did, I gotta wait and then I just kind of push it where I need to push it. So remember, we do have hard here, okay? And we may add some things later. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go with medium, and me, I go hard. Easy's in the middle, medium's over here. So we're gonna go ahead and get some medium solder now. And we're gonna get that around the edge so we get this bezel set on here. So what I like to do, it makes it easier for cleanup, is I set all my little, set all my little pieces in the middle here. That's just me though. I know some people just throw the chips in there. I've tried it that way. I personally just think this is easier, so I'm gonna take my circles, I warm this up, and I slide it on over, so that way it's touching the bottom and the side. And like I said earlier, we have our, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but you see the black mark where the hallmark is. So we know that it's not perfectly centered on the back, but it is going to be on the back of the pendant, so the hallmark will always be there so everybody can see it. So once again, I've got 4 little balls of solder on each corner, and I'm always worried about this, so I'm gonna probably add 2 more. So just to make sure we have enough. Maybe. I think I lost it. Oh, no, there it is. So once again. And I'm just keeping the heat in here. I'm not heating the whole thing here. I'm just keeping it warm enough so the solder solution doesn't get really hard, and I can still move my stuff around that I need to move around. So, you know, kind of spreading out the solder. Okay, making sure my torch is on high. I'll heat it a little bit from here. And then for me, like I said, I like to come from the bottom here. So I'm gonna come from the bottom. And once again, you really want to get used to soldering, using your solder gun with your left hand. So that way you have your right hand for your tweezers or your solder pick or whatever you want to do. You know, kind of keep moving it. Don't sit in one spot too long. So here a little bit, you're going to see it start to bubble, which is good. And if you keep your silver right near the tip versus buried, it's going to heat up faster. This will heat up faster if you're just at the tip versus shoving it all the way up in there, just so you guys know. It seems like it would heat up faster if you kept it close, but it doesn't. Then you always run the risk of overheating your soldering torch and stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys can see, but it's starting to get warm. Starting to bubble here, so that's good. So, and shoot, before I go on, I forgot one more thing. I forgot to get solder against my jumper in there, which is not going to be a good thing. So I need to do that right now before we get too far. And once again, I shove that on the inside. That's just me though. Okay, so there we go. Now we got that because I forgot. And which sucks because that means now my silver cooled down a little bit and I kind of got to go back to getting it hot again. So, and as you can see too, I don't know if you can notice from the camera because it's kind of far away, but the black where we had the hallmark with the black marker, because we're heating up our stuff, it's actually disappearing on us now, which is good. So we know we're getting really close to temperature, which is a good thing. And I can see I'm really close, so now I'm going to jump in here. And one thing, I want to pull the solder to the outside, so I'm going, and there it went. So I'm heating on the outside of the bezel, not on the inside, because like I said, I want that solder to pull. So here we are. I'm just double checking. I'm going to keep it underneath so it doesn't melt my bezel cup, because that's small and it will melt fast. I'm just verifying that everything was flat and the solder has closed all the gaps, so we're not going to have any little gaps on the edges. And I know any of you guys who have done this before know that that happens, and that sucks. So it looks like I have a little bit of a gap right up here. Okay, there it is. It's done. Okay, so we're done there. So let that set for a second. Set that down. Set this down. Let's go ahead and we're going to pull our other bezel piece out of the pickle, if I can get a hold of it. I know you guys got my head probably in the shot. Can't see nothing. Going in there, rinse off. Take that out. And there's some other paper towels to dry it off, because anybody knows, all your metal stuff and water do not go together well. You do not want to get your stuff wet. So we're going to throw this in the pickle. And that's set for a little bit, so not a big deal. And into the pickle she went. Now, so we have this one. And we got it dried off. You can always throw the torch on it for a second to help dry it off. I don't like to do that myself, but some people do. That will assume that all the water, that'll help you get all the water out. So same thing, take the files and hit this really quick. Make sure that there's no humps on it anywhere. So that's what I'm doing with this one. And this one was for, I don't remember which opal it was. Shoot. Oh wait, no, I think it was this one. Ugh, I hate when I do that. Sometimes I forget. You know, that sucks too. That's a big thing. Try not to keep too much crap on your bench. I got way too much stuff on the bench, so you know, you get to where I'm at right now and you're like, which one was I doing? And it really sucks because it confuses you. It sucks, but it is what it is. So once I get the high spots off the inside here where there was some a little bit of solder. Now these things, like you have your mandrel for your rings, which I love, but most people don't realize you can get all these mandrels that are really small. Like this one is great for the size we're doing. And if you're doing really, really small bezel cups, you got these really tiny mandrels, which are wonderful. Problem is whether it's a small mandrel or a big mandrel, they like to charge you the same amount, whether, you know, these things still run about 50 to 80 bucks. You know, depending on which one you're gonna get. So, and you gotta be careful on this too. As you tap these out with your rawhide mallet, you can't stretch the bezel, which is good if you went a little small and you need to make it a little bigger. But if you're not careful, you make it too big, you're gonna have to start back over and redo your particular piece. Now, oh, I remember now, we were doing the piece at Andamooka, right there. Here's our piece. So let's set this down. And once again, let me look at this, because it's kind of an oval shape. And we're gonna see how it's gonna hang, because you know what, we're gonna do this as a ring, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. So, same thing. If we're doing a ring, and this is an oval, same thing, I just want to solder joint at one side of the oval versus the other. So, and as I feared, this is, I think, I'll have to look at it. Let's get it shaped real quick and see if it's, I might have stretched it out a little bit too much, or, honestly, I could have not filed it enough when I was doing it, so. But, no, that will actually work. It is slightly, it's a slightly big, but it's not bad. And because our piece of opal has a nice curve to it, and from the bottom up, it will allow us, when we go to set this, we'll be able to cup it. And as you can see, like, you'll see now, you're probably thinking to yourself going, you know, that's not much opal sticking out the top. But remember, you can always take other pieces of silver. You know, take another piece of flat stock, take some round or something. And once you have this built here, you can give yourself a little bit of buildup to push that stone up, or of course, file, you know, sand it down a little bit more. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break right now. I'll do another video in a little bit. Once I get out of pickle, probably looking about 20-30 minutes. So I will catch back with everybody in say about an hour. So thanks, and remember, you can find us at opalholicsrus.com, opalholicsrus.com. Or you can find us on Etsy. Same thing, Opalholics R Us. You can find us there also. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys shortly. Thanks.